Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Photographer Profile. My name is Nathan Rupert. I've been a San Diego photographer for over 18 years. Because social media is currently focused on video content such as Reels, I started this channel to give the photographers I've met a worldwide platform to share their work and stories. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified right away when new episodes are uploaded or if you just enjoy the content. My guest today is Martin. Hey, Martin, what's going
Hey,
on?
hey Nathan, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
No problem. Just give everyone an introduction about yourself and your photography.
Yeah, my name is Martin Kane. I'm a San Diego photographer, mostly shooting landscapes. Got my first real DSLR back in 2008 and started shooting at that time. Had young kids at the time, so I started doing family portraits of them and sports, and then would get out and do some landscapes when I had time. And as I got older and I was able to get out more, I started focusing more on landscapes, and it's just a way to get out there and kind of, it's my peace and tranquility, if you will, just to go out and kind of just be out with nature and get it done.
And are you single, taken, is complicated? What is your status for those people
I
wondering?
don't know if anybody's wondering, but I'm very happily married. As a matter of fact, this weekend will be my 22nd year anniversary. I
Wow.
got lucky and married a very good girl. So I'm a fortunate guy.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Anything special or is it a surprise?
We usually kind of just do some staycation stuff. So um, just get out, usually hit the beaches and stuff like that. We got dinner reservations on Saturday, and just try and spend a lot of time together.
Awesome. And do you have any hobbies outside of photography by any chance?
I used to play a lot of volleyball. Love beach sports, just going to the beach. Love music, going to concerts. Those are pretty much the things that I like to do.
Any specific type of music or concerts or artists that you enjoy?
My library is very eclectic. Yeah, everything from heavy metal to country, reggae, like almost everything. Probably not so much classical and jazz aren't really too much in my wheelhouse, but everything else in between. Yeah, I love it. I have a deep respect for music and musicianship.
And how did you get into photography to begin with?
That's kind of a weird story that I can't really pinpoint. I've always loved photography. My dad, when I was about 10, bought an SLR, couldn't figure out how to use it, handed it to me and said, "Here, good luck." I still have that camera today,
Wow.
old film camera. Pentax, and I've just always been intrigued. The guy that always had a camera amongst my friends when we went out and went camping, surf trips, whatever. I really enjoyed taking pictures and then having something to give to my friends when we were done and say, I'd always go to the 1 hour photo or whatever and get double prints and keep a set for myself and then a set for my friends. And I have boxes of photos in my garage from like grade school, junior high, high school, after school, everything. I just always loved it. One day just took the plunge and I had a bonus from work and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to buy a setup. And my buddy helped me with the decision making, kind of pointed me in the area of what I should look for and gave me some tips. And then no looking back after that. It's just been, it totally,
I did the
like I said,
same
I
thing as
mentioned, I
you.
love
I
music.
used a bonus of work.
Kind of looked at it as extra money that I didn't have set for a mortgage or something. So I treated myself. It was a great investment. It's an expensive hobby, but I don't regret it one bit. It's brought me a lot of joy. It's my therapy. Met a lot of friends through photography, like a great deal of friends, really good people. There's zero regrets spending a lot of money on photography.
You're lucky you had that friend to help you with that initial purchase decision. I was going off Amazon reviews when I was making my first set of lens and body
Yeah,
purchase.
you do a lot of research. I still do a lot of research whenever I buy something, look at reviews, get some feedback. I'm more of like a face-to-face person, like walking into a camera shop with him here in San Diego and pointing out some things and actually grabbing a Nikon body and grabbing a Canon body and seeing how the ergonomics fit in my hand. And because at that time, back in '08, I think it was a pretty level playing field with the technology that all the cameras had. The lenses are all good. The camera bodies are all good. One might come out with some technological advancement, but then the other one's right behind it. So it's really just what do I like holding? What feels comfortable and what do I want to use? And at that time I chose Canon and then switched to Sony back when like mirrorless kind of became the rage. Switched over and got a Sony mirrorless system.
What excites you to still go out there and shoot after all these years to keep going?
Like right now, we're kind of in a drought for good sunsets and good sunrises and the waves. I like to shoot a lot of surf. As the fall comes around and we'll get better sunrises, I'll get a little more fired up to go out. I've shot so much of San Diego. I mean, I've shot Scripps Pier a million times. It does get sometimes a little old. I look for other things to shoot, a lot of seascape stuff. I'll look at tides, pick a good day to go down to Wyndon. The tides are going to be kind of coming up and around a rock and get a nice like slow shutter. Watch the surf reports. When's it going to be good up at the wedge or something? Cruise up to the wedge and, you know, hopefully get a nice wave shot or some bodyboarder actions. Try and figure out a trip or two a year. Go somewhere different. Want to get out to White Sands National Park. I want to get out to Antarctica. Been up to Canada. We're talking about doing that trip again. I'm just exploring someplace new. My son's going to go to school up in Oregon. So we went up there in April and toured campus. And I had Multnomah Falls on my shot list for years. Got up there and I was very happy to get a shot. Got about 10 minutes on the freeway in Portland and it just started raining. My wife was with me and she would sit there and wipe off my lens in between shots, you know, my filter system. So teamwork. I didn't get to explore as much as I wanted to. We shot Multnomah and I think Bridal Veil Falls and then had to turn back around. So over the next 4 years, I plan on going up to Oregon a few times a year and shooting it at different points in the season.
Do you have a favorite place that you travel to and you keep going back to?
No, everything's been kind of a one and done right now. Like Canada was a single trip. Cotto Lake out in Texas was a one and done. There's so much to see that I just want to hit multiple spots. Hopefully hitting Tahiti in the spring. Really want to get out there for both vacation and photography. So that's high on the list. That's probably the next big trip I'll take.
Do you have any photography advice for people starting landscape photography or just getting started in general? Great advice you've learned over the years.
Mouth shut, ears open. You know, listen to people, take it all in. Don't get discouraged. I learn something almost every time I go out. And then I just come home, I look at my shots, I see what I did wrong, and I go back out. Sometimes that motivates me. I was taking a shot at Scripps Pier that I thought was great, got home, noticed something very wrong with it. And for like the next week straight, I got up every morning and just went down there and shot it again until I nailed it. Got a water housing a few years back. Thought, oh, this is going to be fun and easy. That was a rude awakening. It is so hard nailing focus, bobbing around in the water with waves hitting you. That's still an art I'm not even going to use the word perfect, just trying to get better at so that when I come home with 1,000 shots, I at least have 5 in focus and maybe a keeper or 2. But that's a needle in a haystack for me still. And that truly motivates me to keep learning. I think that's what life's all about, is to learn something and then just keep going at it until you're more proficient. And then hopefully, you know, you can teach somebody sometime like, hey, here's what worked for me. And here's, you know, my lessons learned, and just passing that on to the next person. Hopefully like a young kid in high school or something that wants to start out. I'm way old. I wish I got in this game when I was like 16 or something like that. But I know a few young guys that are out there killing it right now, and I love them. I just think that's, to be their age and get a start at photography, they got the whole world ahead of them. Young, limber, they can hike crazy hills to get places and not get tired. So, yeah.
Have you dabbled in drone photography at all?
Yes. Yeah. I've had a couple drones and I love that too. I just think that's a whole new perspective for like getting up there and getting drone shots is just unreal. It's something you don't see in our everyday life unless you're up in a plane or something. And to go do a top-down shot of the ocean with waves coming in, or a building, a cityscape, a pier, that's awesome. I do love drone photography. I'm not very good at it. I'm a real rookie, but I do love getting up in the air.
Yeah, I want to try that myself. I haven't done that yet.
Do it. Yeah, I don't think you'll be bummed on your decision.
How do you feel about AI, the big buzzword, and photography? Any opinions on that controversial topic?
I guess when you first say AI, I kind of think of the word artificial, right? I've heard a lot of photographers saying, hey, we're going to be put out of a job because people can just say, hey, create a picture of a big wave with a surfer on it and it'll do it. So that aspect of AI, I'm not a fan of, but I mean, AI is in our software, right? It's in our Photoshop and stuff, and the ability to remove something, an unwanted object from your scene and replace it nice and cleanly. I guess I'm using AI for that. I can't knock it too much, but the full blown AI where, your picture is actually not really a picture and it's completely fake. That's not for me, but I think
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something out there for everybody. More power to anybody who's using it to its full capabilities.
Have you ever thought about what you want to happen to your photos when you die, when you're no longer here? Anything special?
Man, I'm already dead. The thing about photography for me is, like I mentioned earlier, it's being able to give something to somebody and have them really like have it hit their heart. I shot when my sons played football, I would shoot for the team and post all the pictures like on Shutterfly or something. And I would have a parent here and there go, oh my God, I love that shot. Can I get, the full res copy? And honestly, that made my day. Having somebody truly like what I produced, just completely, to me, it's what it's all about. Being able to share something with somebody, like why keep it to myself? So if somebody's out there and they like my photography today, I hope that that continues when I pass on and that there's somebody still that, discovers it, sees it and goes, wow, this really, that spot that he photographed is special to me and my family for some reason. It's a beach we used to go to or something like that. And they want a photo. Well, they'll probably have to reach out to my wife to get it or something. But if that happens, then, I'll be smiling down on them with a lot of stoke. So that'd be cool.
Is there any celebrity you'd love to do a portrait shoot with? Anyone famous, alive or dead?
I love portrait photography. I have a few friends that just kill it. It's amazing. It intrigues me. During COVID, I played around with it a little bit. I love a lot of black and white stuff. And I have a long way to go in that arena, a lot to learn there, especially with lighting. But one thing that's always gotten me is like, I asked my parents, my mom and dad, I said, hey, can I photograph you? They're older. They've been married for, I think, 60 years now, 62 years actually. And older couples, older people, the lines on their face, the stories that those lines tell, I think it's beautiful. A nice black and white shot. So a celebrity, somebody older, somebody with a lot of charisma.
Clint
Christopher
Eastwood has
Walken.
a lot of lines.
Ooh, yeah. Clint Eastwood. Thank you. Maybe you just answered my question. I was going to say Christopher Walken, but he's a cool character. I think grew up watching his movies. He's always been like kind of a hero. Like everybody wants to be like Clint. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Thank you.
I love when I answer my guests'
Yeah,
own
you,
questions.
I didn't even think of Clint Eastwood, but yeah, that would be a great shot for sure.
I know the Olympics just came and passed. Is there any Olympic event you'd love to shoot, like sports
Yeah,
photography? Why?
that's one of the weird things about my photography is I love it all. I've settled on landscapes because I can go out alone or with friends, and I'm not shooting a wedding where I have like a bride and groom depend on me, and if conditions aren't good or I blow the shot, then I'm in a lot of trouble. So sports, macro, landscape, portraits, it's all. I can't settle on one genre of photography. My sons played football and ran track and cross country. My son used to do long jump,
Oh,
and
okay.
I would get down at the end of the pit and I'd get them like straight on with their approach, shoot the whole sequence, running on the approach in the air and then landing and have the sand fly up and everything. And that was awesome. Surfing in the Olympics, like this past Olympics and the surfing, and that one
That shot
shot.
went viral, right? That surfing shot
Oh,
went
and
viral.
that's like the shot of a lifetime. I think every photographer wants that, would love to have that one shot that just goes worldwide. It's like, wow, did you see that? Boxing would be fun. All the track events, hurdles are fun. I've shot hurdling, and that was fun. Getting people they're flung out and going over a hurdle. My son did pole vault. That was fun to shoot. I don't think there's really an Olympic sport that wouldn't be fun to shoot. I've shot
You
mountain
could get
biking
some
before.
blood on those hurdles. Those hurdles are dangerous. Like you get some blood shots and people hitting those hurdles. That's
Yeah,
not for the
it's
faint of heart.
so I was shooting at the high school level, and you'd be amazed how many of those things just clack, 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 clack. And you just look
Oh
up and like, oh,
gosh.
that poor kid. They're giving it their all. The parents are out there watching. All the hurdles are falling down. But luckily, I didn't see any blood, maybe a couple scraped knees
Oh
or something,
good.
but no ambulance is coming by. But um, yeah, all those sports they're a blast, really are.
Well, you sent me some of your photos ahead of time, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. 1 second. Okay, can you see that?
I can, yeah.
All right. Go ahead and tell us the story behind this photo and why you wanted to feature it.
That is Hawaii. That's Oahu. I was there in January, and the first morning there, I dragged my wife out at like 5 a.m., drove down to Waikiki, and we had, as you could probably tell, in my opinion, a really dreamlike sunrise. It's just, to me, that one just looks like, it's not a typical sunrise. It kind of looks like a dream. That
Yeah.
shot had been on my list for a while. So I shot that 2 mornings in a row, and very happy with the results, especially when you're on vacation and you wake your wife up really early and she goes with you. You better get a good shot. She's kind of a
Yeah.
lucky charm sometimes. I was really happy with it. I got a lot of positive feedback on that shot when I posted it. So that's why I sent that one over to you.
What is that behind the palm trees there? Is that island or mountain or
Okay, so
volcano?
no, it's just a stretch of beach. Where I'm shooting from is a lagoon. The lagoon is separated from the ocean just by a little strip of land there that people walk and jog along, ride bikes on, and everything. So literally, just on the other side is a little stretch of beach and then the water. And
I
I
love
have
how
a few.
these palm trees are separate, right? The palm trees are very standalone,
Yeah,
lone rangers
Lone
together.
Range. I also flew my drone there, and the drone shots from that area are epic as well. Hilton Hawaiian Village Hotel is right there, kind of in the back left. And so you get that little boardwalk I'm talking about. You get the ocean on the right and the lagoon on the left. Just really like a green colored, aqua green colored lagoon. Really cool top down shot from there.
Is this HDR or did you use a filter for the shot or is this straight out of the camera?
That straight from the camera. I had probably had a filter on just for a little bit longer shutter speed, probably a few seconds on there. So maybe a 3 stop, but no HDR. That's the
Wow,
sunrise. It was nice.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at your next one. I want to make sure I have the whole picture in the frame real fast. It's a lot. It's big. Okay.
That was up in April this year. We went up to tour the campus at U of O. That's when I was telling you we were in Portland and went over there to Multnomah Falls. That was early morning, nobody there, just a couple of people walking their dog and a little bit of rain, which was cool because the one thing I prefer about shooting mornings versus sunsets is the lack of people around you. I had that whole area to myself. I could take my time shooting. I could
Wow.
set up wherever I wanted, get the comp that I wanted without worrying about getting in the way of another photographer or a family doing, there's a lot of families there visiting and they're all taking a big group shot. So pretty much I did have it all to myself. Just the rain. The rain kind of cut the time there short. Yeah, that was, like I said, high on the shot list for quite a number of years. Really happy to check it off and
How many
want to go.
seconds was this one? Probably.
That was probably about a second, maybe. I'd have to
Oh
check
wow.
the anywhere from about a half to 1.5 seconds, just enough to get the flow, slow it down a little bit.
And can you dive in that, or they don't allow people?
I don't know. I would guess no, but that's just me guessing. I don't know how deep it. Next time I go up there, I'll find out.
Just take a jump. Take a jump. Try it out.
I'll send somebody up to the bridge and see if they could leap really far.
All right, let me zoom in on this one because it's a lot better when you're closer to the action here. There we go. You see that?
That is a lucky shot. That was right place, right time for sure. Back in 2020, we had a good surf for quite a while. Every weekend, me and a few friends are going up and shooting sunrise. The whole month of December and then into January, it was just fun times, just really good. Shoot for a couple hours, come home with some nice shots. I went up on a Monday morning and just said, I hope it's been so good. Let's hope I didn't waste my time and get up early. And that one wave rolled through. It was the only one of the morning. Shot for about
Wow,
an
only one.
hour and a half. That's the only one that came through. And I knew when I shot it, I thought I had something special. I prayed that it was in focus because when you're looking at the back of the LCD screen, everything looks good. And then you get home and you're like, oh man, this is horrible. I got home and I was extremely happy with it. It's probably my best selling shot. I just installed one or delivered one this past weekend to a customer. I took that in January 21 during COVID. It was nice working from home. Sometimes take advantage of getting up early and shooting and then getting back home in time to work. Just extremely fortunate, very
Were you in the
blessed to.
water?
It's a backwash wave. So there's one going out from the shore and one coming in. I shot it with my 100, 400,
Okay.
probably around 300, maybe 400 mils. Yeah, from the beach, right on the beach.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah,
Handheld or to use a tripod?
that was handheld.
You mentioned selling your shots. You do go to a lot of the art shows and art walks in San
Yeah,
Diego.
I started last year. My wife kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone and said, you got to do something. You got a lot of pictures around the house that are just piling up. And I was, kind of selling stuff to friends. I didn't think it was in my personality to do it because I'm not a salesman. I don't like to I don't like to be pushy. I don't want to make people feel obligated to buy something. I ended up doing it and I had the best time. I met so many cool people, got into so many great conversations, got a lot of great compliments. And, sometimes you can really filter out a sincere compliment from oh, nice work. Got a lot of those. And it really just kind of made me stoked to do it again. This is my second year of doing shows and it's been a lot of fun. I don't do too many, just a handful each year. I did about 6 last year and I think I'm doing 6 this year. So just, something manageable.
Just wanted to call it out if anybody, wants to meet you in person and check out
Yeah,
some of your prints.
that's where I got to meet you in person. A few weeks
Yeah,
ago.
exactly.
Yeah,
You never
appreciate
know who you're gonna meet. Maybe even a podcast person.
you. You're getting famous in your own right.
All right. Here's a beauty. Tell us about this shot.
And we went up to Canada in, God, was it January of 21 or 22? Like 4 of us went up there, and this is the first morning. So there's the lakes freeze, right? But I'm from San Diego, so I've never been on a frozen lake before. I don't know anything about this. And we went out there. It was probably still dark when we pulled up. And honestly, I was petrified to walk out there. And we heard just this thunderous sound coming through the mountains, just completely
Wow.
eerie. And it stopped us in our tracks. We all look at each other like, what was that? And so we started shooting. There's just like a little formation of ice and snow that the wind blew, and it kind of had like a lightning bolt sort of look to it, like kind of a leading line into this mountain. So I shot that for a little bit. There's some frozen methane bubbles in the lake that I shot. And then my friend was laying down and another one of those evil cracks comes through and the ice in front of her split. And
Oh my
we
god.
we ran off that ice pretty quick. Like we're all like, okay, I had
Wow.
enough. We've been shooting for probably 2 hours. Didn't know how thick it was. And we went back that evening. As we pulled up, we look out there and there's probably close to 1,000 people on the ice skating,
Whoa.
playing hockey. And we're like, what? So I guess that ice was thick enough to hold all kinds of people. There's people, snowmobiles out there, everything. So we didn't have any more fear about how thick that ice was the rest of the trip and just continued to shoot frozen lakes. If you ever get the opportunity to go up there in winter, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's like nothing we get down here in San Diego. I can't wait to go back. That's definitely one I'm going to go back and do again.
Did you get on the ground to shoot this? Because this is really low, really cool
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah. I'm laying on the ground, like laying on the ice.
I like the how the vertical mountain contrasts with the horizontal little dichotomy there. I think that's pretty cool
Yeah,
too.
thanks, Nathan. I appreciate that. I was super happy with that when I got home. I liked the comp. I liked the conditions. That was such a memorable morning.
Okay, we have this one a little more abstract.
Yeah, Firefall. I think you might need to
Should I
pan
zoom
down.
out? Oh, okay, there we go. Get the full. There we go. Get the full
Yeah,
experience now.
that was Firefall last year, February 23. The first time I ever got to see it and shoot it. And I went up there wanting to get the shot because I've never shot it before. Then number two, I had one specific shot in mind, and it was that one. And I was super happy with the results. About the 10 minutes that we shot Firefall, I don't know if you've ever been up there.
I've seen
I
the
was,
photo a million times on social media.
yeah, I was in portrait orientation, landscape orientation, zoomed in, zoomed out. So for 10 minutes, I'm just switching it all up. But I wanted to make sure that I got a nice tight shot, kind of abstract. That was my main goal. And one of my favorite things about photography is having a vision in mind and then making it happen. So, every once in a while where you have a specific shot you want to get, you picture it in your mind exactly how you want it to look. And when you go out and you get it, it's just super fulfilling. I came home really happy with this one. It's exactly what I wanted to get.
How many other hundreds of photographers were around during this event?
There's a lot, but it's cool. We went up midweek. By Thursday, you can start seeing things get a little more crowded. And those types of crowds just aren't for me. It's not much fun when you're like
Yeah.
fumbling over people. But the cool thing about shooting this location is it's a long lens shot, right? There might be people all around you and in front of you, but you're just shooting over and through them. You're zoomed in, you're shooting at the mountain, so you don't have anybody. There's nothing in your foreground. There's no heads or tripods or anything. It doesn't really matter how crowded it is because you're just
Yeah.
shooting beyond everybody. That's the beauty of Firefall is it doesn't matter how many people are there. You can still get a shot.
Okay, let's take a look at the next one. We zoom in. I think this is one that you were not too happy
Yeah.
with.
I'll tell you about this one. This one I was happy with at a certain time in my life. Um, this is, I believe, January or February of '09. I'd just gotten my camera at like a Black Friday in 2008. And my buddy that I was telling you about that kind of helped me out, we went downtown. And at this time in the photography world, HDR was big. And I had HDR software and I exploited it. When I took this shot, I loved it. I was so happy
Yeah.
with it. Um, I see it now and I just want to throw up. Matted it and framed it for my friend for his house a while back in like 2009. And I'm like, dude, we got to get you something new. I don't want people coming over and seeing that and having you go, yeah, that's my buddy Martin. No,
Oh my
no, that's horrible. So I gotta update him with something new. And it's hard because if I have something I don't like, I'm not happy with, I usually delete it just to kind of free up storage and stuff on my hard
Yeah.
drives. I don't keep stuff around. I just kind of scroll through my feed, and this is way back deep in my Instagram feed. Definitely embarrassed to say this is me, but at that point in time, it's kind of like having a mullet back in the day. Something embarrassing. You might have at the time it was cool, and now it's not.
When you
It's my mullet shot.
when you first try HDR, and when I first tried it with the HDR software, you always bump those sliders to the maximum, and you just don't care. You're like, "This is amazing,"
Oh
and then
yeah,
you later in life you realize, "Why did I bump these sliders to the maximum?" And it looks just like throw
yeah,
up. Just
100%. And even in the past few years, I've looked at my style of photography, my editing style, both of those things, and I look back and I'm like, wow, I don't like that anymore. I don't edit like that anymore. But at that point in time, that's where I was. That's what I liked. And I'm sure a few years from now, I'll look back and think stuff I do today is horrible. It's always evolving. And I think that's one of the cool things about life is like you can always evolve, always grow.
every photographer in San Diego has the same angle view of downtown. I think it's from Coronado, the airport. I mean, those are two of the most popular viewpoints.
Yeah.
I know I've
And
shot that a dozen times in my career.
I think the original picture of this is a landscape version. So there's more on the left and more on the right. I think it was a square for Instagram. Or at least the composition I could say was a little better than what you're seeing here, but the post processing is just horrible.
Okay, and here's one.
You asked for something to critique. Have at it. Go ahead and I know what I critique about it, but I'd be curious to see what you'd say.
I like how you're able to still get a decent shot even when there's no sunset. A lot of times we just kind of give up
Yeah.
as photographers when the clouds just roll in and there's no color, no sun. So you were able to get a pretty decent shot without a sunset. I think there's just a little too much foreground. If you could maybe crop off the bottom and get closer to that little splash
Yeah.
of water, I think that'd make it 10 times more interesting
Yeah.
from my perspective.
Thank you. That's exactly my critique was, yeah, you're right. Either crop it to crop out some foreground, or I wish there was more water coming forward. So if the water would have kind of filled up the foreground a little more and dragged the shutter a little bit, I think it would have been a better shot. Regarding the conditions, the sunset and all that, I love shooting the moody stuff. I love skies like that. I don't always love when you get a good sunset or a sunrise. It's kind of a treat because you don't always get them. So I'm not going to say I
Right.
don't like to shoot them because I do, but most of my stuff, I like it a little toned down a little bit, a little dial it back. Like how you mentioned the sliders. I've actually taken pictures like straight out of the camera where I tone down the saturation sliders because it's just too much straight out of the camera. And on a morning like this, I don't really have to worry about anything being too amped up at all. It's just kind of even lighting situation and stuff. But yeah, thank you for the critique. It's what I feel too is the foreground. You're right. It's too much. Or if the water just if I could have captured it coming in a little closer to my feet, it would have been a little more interesting for sure.
Okay, I think that's all the pictures we have. A couple more questions for you before we wrap things
Sure.
up. Do you have a dream shot that you haven't captured yet? A to-do shot?
I really want to get to Tahiti. I think that's going to be a field day for photographing Tahiti and Antarctica. Those are two locations that in the next, hopefully Tahiti in 2025 and maybe Antarctica the following year. And then the other dream shot, it's nothing specific. It's more of, generically, it's like that shot from the Olympics of the surfer, just,
Yeah.
it's just capturing that one of, you probably are too young to remember, but back in 78, we had the PSA plane crash here in San Diego. And there was I can't remember if he was like a Union Tribune guy or what, but there was a guy driving had a camera in his car, stopped and took the picture. Those are like once in a lifetime shots that when you just captured that, there's not 1,000 people at Scripps Pier shooting Scripps Pier. It's just this random stroke of luck. If I could ever get that kind of shot one day, you're the only one that has it. It's a moment in time. That would be a dream shot. I'll probably never get it because I think there's very few of those shots out there in the world as it is. But if I ever got one, I just hang up the camera at that point, go, I'm done. I'm out. Done all I can do. I'm never going to top it.
Do you have any weird or wild stories, anything interesting that's happened to you during your photo shoots, during your travels that you can think of?
That Canada, that lake shot, you really had to be there to understand it. But when we're all walking out on ice and we're all kind of leery as it is, and then you just start hearing this loud, it's like a clap of thunder just cutting through the mountains and going across the lake and just scaring the heck out of you. That's probably my story because we were all scared, like legit
Yeah.
scared. And then we go back that evening and we see all these people out there having the time of their lives on the lake, kind of looked at each other like what a bunch of idiots we were. But I could just picture one of us falling through the lake, and then how do you get this person putting our tripods down there or something and bringing them
Oh my
back
God.
up? But so it's a great memory to look back on. Now we get together, we still talk about it. I'm talking about it with you today. Um,
I'm
that's
glad you're safe.
Me too. I'm ready to do it again though. That place is magical. Super cool place.
Do you have any final thoughts? What's the best way for people to contact you?
Instagram's great, even though it's kind of a dying thing now, unfortunately, because I've met so many people through Instagram, a lot of cool people, shot with a lot of good people. Like I said, made a lot of friends through there, met you through Instagram. But just the engagement just over the last, I don't know, 2 years or so, it's not what it is. And I think that's the life cycle of things. It's hot for a moment and then it dies out. But yeah, connecting on Instagram is always good. I have a website, but that's kind of just more I don't put too much on the website. More goes on Instagram. And
Okay.
website's just kind of a place to point customers to or something. Or someone says, hey, you have a website. It's very easy to send them there. Not everybody's on Instagram. Sometimes you meet people maybe older people or maybe younger people who are like, no, I don't Instagram, I don't social media. So let's point them to a website. But Instagram's probably the number one spot to go to. You can message
Maybe
me
we need to
through
get you on
there.
TikTok, do some TikTok dances or something like that.
I can't dance. I can't dance. Um, yeah, I've thought about TikTok. I've seen some videos. I don't even use TikTok. My wife uses it and she's on there all the time watching stuff. And my buddies use it. And I'm like, maybe I need to start paying more attention to it. But I can't, between the job and photography and a family, I can't juggle. I can't juggle another social media app right now.
Yeah, it's you got to pick and choose your battles, and what you're willing to
100%.
put the time in.
Absolutely, for sure.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Martin.
Oh man, all the thanks go to you. I appreciate you reaching out. I love what you're doing for the community. I hope you keep it up, and I hope this just grows. I hope you get a lot of people on here and have a flood of videos on your YouTube page soon.
I've done a lot of videos just on San Diego photographers. There's so many photographers just in this local area that I'll have
Yeah,
content forever. I
right
don't think there's
on.
any
That's cool.
shortage of content.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, once you get out, you got them out there and stuff. You can branch out and reach out to people in other countries and everything, and tell them what you're doing and go global.
Yeah, I did have a video with she does surf photography and she's in Mexico City.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
And then I interviewed
she's
someone who lives in Canada. So we're going
very cool.
international. We're already there, but yeah, I'll try to
Yeah.
expand more internationally
Absolutely. But
as well.
there's so many, I mean, there's a flood of photographers here in San Diego too. You could do 3 of these a day and you'd still have a ton of people to do these with.
Well, I appreciate your time. Have a good night. It was great chatting with you, and I'll see you on social media.
Right on, Nathan. Thank you very much, man. You take care.
All right, see you, Martin.
See ya.